Stephen Pope is with us, Managing Partner, Spotlight Ideas. Stephen, great having you with us. Are we looking at some positive developments? From whatever we can gather, there seems to be some headway being made on both sides as far as the debt negotiations are concerned. Do you see an end result soon?
Yes, I think that the closer we get to the trigger day, which would be the 17th of October, the more likely it is you will find a resolve. And I think that the comments coming through, particularly from Mr. Reid last night, were the most encouraging we've had so far. As you mentioned, they're looking to try and push the debt ceiling issue deep into January so that we don't keep going through problems and issues. And I think you see, even though the bond market was closed yesterday for Columbus Day, the way the US equities reacted, and certainly the manner that we're seeing Europeans react this morning, is clear that we're all very encouraged by this news.
I think Obama's stance is very important, and he could come and virtually spoil the party, and the kind of progress that has been made could actually get destabilized if he objects to any of the issues which are put in front of him?
Well, I would imagine he would have conversations with his colleagues in the Democrat Party and would understand precisely what ground his side have had to give and maybe what ground the Republicans have yielded. He would not want to be seen as the person that caused the problem at the last moment. So I think there is an issue of compromise all round. And we've seen these types of situations before. It always gets taken to the 11th hour, and both sides are trying to get the maximum gain that they can. However, no side wants to be seen as the party that caused America to default, because it entails debt reductions in terms of the credit rating, and it will have a big impact on the economy, and people will get punished at the elections when they come through in 2014.
And what happens to the QE taper? Do you think if this whole issue gets shifted 3 months, and the kind of reports that we are suggesting is that the government gets a 3-month brief period till Jan 15th, do you think then that would also push forward QE taper maybe to the start of next year? Because our earlier estimates suggested that QE taper may happen by the end of October or any time between October to December. Do you think that date gets shifted much further, or do you think the QE taper and the timeline for that would largely remain unaffected by what happens in terms of the debt talks?
Well, I think that the Federal Reserve undoubtedly has its own read upon certain key economic statistics within the United States. But if they were to go ahead and react and say, well, it's because of our internal measures, the markets would be unhappy, particularly when we've got used to forward guidance from Mr. Bernanke. So I imagine that they will probably delay it. It could well easily go into the new year, and I think that's probably a sensible policy, because at the current time, the American recovery is still quite fragile. And I think you would find increasingly Ben Bernanke will be listening to and taking on board the opinion of Janet Yellen, so that when she picks up later in 2014, she will have actually had a firm hand on the rudder or the tiller guiding the Fed ship, as against just, oh, suddenly it's on her back, so she's taking it over. So I would say yes, we're likely to delay to the new year.
Apart from that, what are the other key triggers worth watching out for as far as European markets are concerned in terms of economic data? What other factors would you keep your eye on?
Well, there's been a lot of talk lately that Ireland is likely to remove itself quickly from the rescue packages it had and could make a full return to the international capital market and not require backup aid. That would be a good sign. I am concerned, though, we get a little bit excited about the Spanish economy, saying that that's coming off aid. I still think we have to look and say, yes, we appreciate some of the progress Spain has made. However, they still have a very difficult situation in that the unemployment is at 26%, youth unemployment nearly 60%. The recession has ripped 7% out of the Spanish GDP, and even if you believe what OECD and IMF are telling us, that they will start growing roughly at 1% for the next couple of years, it's going to take until around 2021 before they get their nominal GDP in euro terms back to where it was in 2006. Also, next year starts a 2-year process of local, regional, and then national elections. So the chances of vigorous reform being put through is very low in Spain. So I'm just a bit cautious that maybe we're getting complacent with the tighter Spanish spreads relative to Germany.
Right, Stephen, thank you so much for joining us.